Because this is our first time using Fusion 360, we'll look at a few things that in other lessons we won't have to revisit. So once you open Fusion and sign in, we are now at our opening screen, and there's some things we should do to make sure we get everything set up the way we want it. The first thing the instructions tell us to do is to go create a new file. We need somewhere to put our data, so we need somewhere for Fusion to save our data, since Fusion's a cloud program. So we go to our Show Data panel. For mine, I'm going to call this one just simple CAD. So now that we've created our new folder, we can leave this area, and this is where we're going to save our Fusion drawings to. So now we've got a blank screen. The first thing we want to do is, well, maybe not the first thing, but we always want to name and save our drawing. That's very critical. Right now it's untitled. We're going to call this Assignment 3.1a. And it probably belongs in a format like Craig, your last name, initial, underscore. And it wants to know where we want to put it. We just created the folder. Put it in the folder you just created. Tell it to save. So now, if you noticed, instead of being untitled, our drawing is now called whatever you just named yours, and it also says version 1. Each time we hit Control S or come up here to the save feature, it will create a new version. And I highly suggest that every time you complete something new in your drawing, you go to that and save your drawing. So first thing, since we may or may not have set our Fusion up previously, so let's look. And right now our units are in millimeter. All of our drawings are, and you can change them here, but that's not necessarily how we want to, because every time you open your drawing, it's automatically going to go back to millimeter. So we want to fix that so we don't have that problem. If we draw our drawings in millimeters and decide later we want to change them to inches, you got to create a whole new drawing. It's not like AutoCAD where it'll let you switch from one to the other and it'll scale it for you. So this is important. So we come up here to where our name is. We click on that and we go to Preferences and we select and our preferences pop up. I'm going to be doing everything in English. Our offline cache time period in days is set to 15 by default. I would set that to a much larger number. You would like to be able to see your drawings at least through the end of the semester, so change that to a much larger number. Automatic backup interval in minutes, and I've got mine set to 5 minutes. The automatic backup doesn't seem to have been working lately in Fusion, but ideally you want to set it to whatever time frame you're happy with. 5 minutes is not too long. So then default modeling orientation, by default you want your Y is up, and we want ours. Important that you put Z up if you're going to be doing any type of 3D printing or anything else with your model. The rest of the things, if yours are selected or not selected, you should make sure they match what I've got going on right here. And then we go to the more important things. Our default units under design are currently set to millimeter. I want to change that to inches. Under manufacture, I also want to change that to inches. And simulation and generative design, prefer. So I'm going to change them better. So that's what I'm going to use. And you can tell it to apply. And then when you're done, you can tell it OK. It did not change my units over here to millimeters, but it next time I open a drawing, it should. So we want to go ahead and make sure that before we start drawing, we are in inches. Otherwise, we may have to redraw our drawings again. Right now, the default, we're looking at Fusion from the corner. I want to look at the screen from the top in the XY plane, which is identical to if you had the object laying flat in front of you on a table. So that's the view I want to use. So I'm going to go up here and click on the top, and it rotated it to where my X and Y is in the orientation that I want. Going along, and we hit save, and now this will change to version 2 in a minute. There's our version 2, so this is our finished saved drawing. And the only thing else we need to do with it is to submit it. We can't submit it from where it is, from our data panel. So we have to go up here to File, click on the drop-down menu, come down to Export, and click on Export, and it takes the name of our drawing. We want it in a F3D file as it is, and now it'll let us specify where we want our drawing. So I'm just going to put mine in here, and make sure you put it in a file where you know where it's at. I highly suggest emailing it to yourself, and several other things. So you have at least 3 copies of it. You want your copy here. You also want your copy in your file folder so you can submit it. And that takes care of this lesson. See you in the next one.